Hey guys, Jordan here, back with another rant about Battlefield 3. I've got a couple of different weapons and attachments featured in this video, as these are clips from the first real go I've ever given to playing the Assault class. I play support a large majority of the time. I don't even have a reason for it. I just chose support once and was like, this feels so right. Didn't really venture too far outside that other than when I needed to snipe a sniper that was pissing on my Cheerios, or when I had the old bazooka itch and played engineer. That being said, I've discovered something awesome. Assault is a goldmine for points if you know how to work it right. Assault, if you don't know, is the generic soldier class, or at least it used to be before Battlefield 3 came along. No longer is there a medic class, and the Assault class now handles medkits and defibs. Breaking news, I know. In other breaking news, Pluto's no longer a planet, Y2K is coming, and Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. It's common knowledge, to be sure, but the way some people play the class, you'd never know you could dispense medkits. I don't know if it's because they've gone this long and just don't know it's possible, or purposefully ignore it so they can focus more on kills. And to be honest, I'm not sure which one of those two brands of ignorance fills my hate bladder with more rage juice. So to start off my rant, I just need to say this. Drop medkits. Drop them all the time. You should drop them here and there. Drop the medkits everywhere. You should drop them in a house. You should drop them with a mouse. See a soldier? Press 3. What if he's a fellow assault? Doesn't matter. Press 3. Do you see a group of teammates holding down a control point? For the love of swift and bloody justice, press 3. You should be pressing 3 so many times it gives Gabe Newell a brain aneurysm. The only time you shouldn't be dropping medkits is when bullets are flying out of the muzzle of your rifle on their way to splatter brains all over the fucking wall behind some Charlie scumbags. Oh god, I just fucked up this whole game by laying down this medkit, said no one ever. They take 3 goddamn seconds to be able to throw one again, and you have a lot of them. How many? Let's count. 1, 2, fucking infinity. I mean, I guess there's no point in dropping a medkit if you're literally in the middle of nowhere, alone with your thoughts, but if that's the case, what the fuck are you doing? You're an assault class. That means you're a commie-slaying, health-dispensing, frontline pushing motherfucker. Get up to the battle, soldier. Assault is the general infantry class, and as such, you should be among the group that stands in the front line pushing it forward like a mob of angry, restless Black Friday shoppers trampling over the enemy to get their hands on that Tickle Me Elmo. Did I say Tickle Me Elmo? I meant victory. If there's one class above all other that should be peeing the F and O, it's the Assault class. You know who dies in the backfield? Snipers and idiots. Your main focus should be the guys in the front, not the snipers in the back. So having said this, I'd think it'd be a waste of time to drop a medkit by a sniper if you happen to run by one on the way to the front lines, right? Wrong! Haven't you been listening? Where have you been for the last 2 minutes? Drop medkits all the time. Just don't make your main focus the guys in the back. Like I said, you should be on the front lines. You'll be a much better assault if you constantly drive yourself to be on the front lines of the attack or the defense. You should be up there, killing some people, and then bringing other people back to life with your defibs. Now on to those defibs. Now, if you're following the pattern of my rant so far, you'd probably expect me to say, use your defibs all the time. Wrong again, Nancy. When it comes to defibs, use them when it's appropriate. I cannot stress this enough. I can't tell you how many times I've seen or been on the receiving end of an assault player herping and derping his way into the middle of a 10-man firefight trying to defib a dead player only to end up bleeding out of his 14 new bodily orifices on the ground next to the other guy who's either still dead or dead again because he got revived and then immediately shot to death because, guess what? He's on the floor in the middle of a 10-man firefight. If you think that's a good location to revive your teammate, do me a favor and put your keyboard in the toaster and set it to dark. But Jordan, I can hear you saying, if I revive him and he dies, it still only counts as 1 death and I get 100 points. What's the harm? The harm is that you're doing 2 stupid things. 1, you're focusing your own attention on a hopeless endeavor instead of slaying the rifle monkeys that killed your teammate, and 2, you're also increasing the time it takes for that teammate to get back into the game. So now you've effectively taken 2 soldiers off the battlefield, and even if it's for just a few seconds, that's more than enough time for Charlie to rush your position and shove a hot heaping spoonful of bullet gumbo into your dumb face. Now there at the control point. Awesome, you just turned the tide of the game against yourself. You just punched yourself in the nuts. You just shit on your own face. Why would you do that? Now, it might sound like I'm telling you not to use the defib. That's not the case. Use the defib a lot. It's a fantastic tool and it nets you tons and tons of points. Just don't use it with reckless abandon. Use it often, but use it wisely. Okay, so when should you defib a guy? Wait for breaks in the action or when you're both in good cover. You're always putting yourself at risk at least a little when you put your gun away to give a fellow teammate the old shock and awe, but just take a quarter second to assess the situation before you run out there like an idiot. If it means probable to certain death, maybe hold off a second. In the meantime, fire away at the enemy and try to suppress the gunfight into a lull and then head out there. And here's a small tip. I know the action is hectic, but if you want your revives to count for something, try to protect the guy you just revived for half a second while he gets his bearings. Give him a little cover fire and try to take down any enemies that are headed his way. For all you know, this guy just got startled into dropping his Cheetos and wasn't quite prepared to fight again. It gives him a better chance of living through his near-death experience, and it keeps you from dying too. I mean, let's be honest. If you're trying to sprint through a battle zone just defibbing and not shooting, chances are some Charlie's gonna lay you out like a free safety laying out a defenseless receiver. Except in this game, that's not a penalty, and you end up dead. So like I've said before, I'm not going to claim that I'm an elite Battlefield 3 player. My skill level goes up at the same rate as a sloth doing a jigsaw puzzle. But I do have a basic understanding of how to play Assault. And you know what? It fucking works. Here's a battle report from my first real game playing Assault ever. Did you happen to notice me being 4th place with 13 kills and 11 deaths? Almost 1,000 points ahead of a guy who had a kill-death ratio of 37 and 4? Did you also happen to notice the first place guy on my team was 18 and 10, 700 points ahead of a guy who was 40 and 10? Yeah, guess what class he was playing? If you take away all his kills, that means that guy got over 6,000 non-kill related points from player assists, revives, heals, and objectives. Now that's what I call being a team player. Now look, I'm not trying to say that kill-death ratio doesn't matter at all. In the process of playing the objectives, you've got to kill people, and the better you are at that, the better you'll be at winning. But it's the people who focus solely on kills and don't help the team take out MCOMs or capture points that really brings teams down. In Battlefield 3, score per minute tells the whole story, and like I just showed you, if you focus on the objectives, play your class right, and support your fellow players instead of just trying to boost your personal kill count, you'll be a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. So please, if you're playing Assault, throw down medkits, revive when it's appropriate, fight on the front lines, and don't be a noob.